Ladies and gentlemen, the situation is serious. Insomnia reigns at the Elysée. From the Elysée to the Quai d'Orsay, France is not sleeping. France cannot close its eyes. Following this statement, which the Kremlin, Russia, and Vladimir Putin have just made regarding our comrade president, His Excellency Ibrahim Traoré, it is an exceptional declaration. France cannot bear it. After their harsh criticisms regarding the reception, the type of reception given to Ibrahim Traoré, after all that, the heightened security measures around Ibrahim Traoré, in the end, France feels very, very uncomfortable with the statement made by Russia concerning Ibrahim Traoré. We won't beat around the bush. Let's go directly to the statement. But please make sure that all Africans can see this. I'm telling you, go to France 24, go to RFI, you won't see this information. That's why it needs to be shared as much as possible. Yes, they're so-called experts, some of whom are there with correspondents on the ground, are talking nonsense on their various TV platforms. And we are here pioneers, the Africa of sovereignties. So let's go straight to the point. And so, the summary is that Ibrahim Traoré is turning his back on the West. And this pleases the Kremlin. And what is being said? Since he came to power in 2022, this is the Kremlin speaking. Since coming to power in 2022, Captain Traoré, who became president at the age of 37, the youngest head of state in the world, has led his country in breaking away from the colonial legacy. Rich in gold, Burkina Faso has long seen its resources exploited by foreign companies with little benefit. So, what has Ibrahim Traoré undertaken? What has Ibrahim Traoré undertaken? The end of the French military presence, first of all. Share this video with me. I want to see a lot of sharing. The end of the French military presence, first of all. And as part of the end of the French military presence, we witnessed the expulsion of French troops, the dissolution of Operation Sabre, and the closure of foreign military bases. If a country does not want to move towards its sovereignty, such a decision cannot be made by its president, by its head of state. Secondly, Russia appreciates the nationalization of gold mines. The nationalization of gold mines, since these mines were being exploited, but the real benefits were not for Burkina Faso. So, elements are mentioned, and this information is relayed by one of the most listened to media outlets in Russia, Sputnik. And so, what is being said? Regarding the nationalization of gold mines, there was the recovery of the main gold sites valued at $80 million. There was the construction of the first gold refinery in Burkina, so that the profits remain in the country. There was also, and above all, economic decolonization, Maranatha. I ask you to share this video conference, give it a lot of likes, and make sure that all Africans can receive this video conference. There was economic decolonization, which was materialized by what? The creation of a national postal bank to reduce dependence on the CFA franc, RD. So Russia notes everything. The creation of a national postal bank, to reduce dependence on the CFA franc. The opening of tomato processing factories to reduce imports. Yes, Ibrahim Traoré has worked. And Russia acknowledges this effort. Then, there was also the removal of colonial symbols. The removal, meaning Ibrahim Traoré ensured that the symbols of colonization could disappear from his territory. That is sovereignty, the Africa of sovereignties. And this removal of colonial symbols was characterized by replacing the British wigs and attire of judges with traditional African clothing. 1. Secondly, the adoption of traditional uniforms in schools. What they imposed on us, Burkina has let go. We have made videos about this as well. The outfits have changed. Share this video conference with me. Share it to the max. The third characteristic of the removal of colonial symbols, the promotion of national languages at the expense of French. So, the other aspect, Bobeni, that Russia appreciates the most, is the investment for greater self-sufficiency. And how is this investment for greater self-sufficiency materialized? Firstly, the distribution of tractors and fertilizers to farmers to increase production. Distribution of tractors and fertilizers to farmers to increase production. This is a true economic revolution. The second characteristic of the investment for greater self-sufficiency, led by Ibrahim Traoré, is free cataract surgery and the deployment of mobile clinics. We have talked about it here. There are mobile clinics that go from village to village. For remote villages where people cannot travel to the city, there are mobile clinics that move around. The third point on the investment made for greater self-sufficiency is the revival of Air Burkina and the expansion of airport infrastructure. Air Burkina, the airline of Burkina. You see, as I was saying, I say it very often. We, at our place in Kiev, we don't have an airline. We had one, it disappeared. Until now, we don't know who is behind it or who those behind it are. The other point that Russia appreciates, the new regional alliances. Ibrahim Traoré has established new regional alliances. We have the creation of the Sahel States Alliance with Mali and Niger. Not that he created it, but he is one of the initiators. It is to his advantage. It's to his credit. So, among Ibrahim Traoré's projects, there is the construction of a common central bank, not Ibrahim Traoré's projects, but the projects of the AES. That's what I was going to say. There is the project of a common central bank. There is the establishment of a joint military force. This has already been done, what we are talking about here. There are new passports, independent of ECOWAS, the AES passports. So, there is already a central bank, a joint military force, and there are new passports that have nothing to do with ECOWAS. So, Pudasi, for the Kremlin, this policy marks a shift towards sovereignty, or uotasi, and regional cooperation, demonstrating that Burkina Faso is breaking away from decades of Western influence. And so, here is what Russia says about Burkina Faso, which was broadcast by Sputnik and relayed by several media outlets that are in the spirit of Africa's sovereignties. France is not asleep. Since they had promised, it would be a fiasco, a resounding failure. Ibrahim Traoré, assimigoita, tchiani would not be able to do anything for their people. And here today is a power like Russia recognizing the efforts that are being made. And these details, this summary, allow the Burkinabe to have a list of what Ibrahim Traoré has accomplished, not to mention what he will do. That is why, once again, all Burkinabe should watch this video conference. Listen to the various points listed and remember them. That is to say, we must ensure that nothing can change the mindset of the Burkinabe, even the most skeptical ones. That's what it's about. Since we, the other African countries, should take inspiration from Burkina Faso. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the headline news. We will continue to follow this news. Everything that will result from it, we will come back to discuss here. since there are things, information that Western media will never talk about. No, not at all. So I will get back to you shortly. This was the voice of your humble servant, Robert T.